Imagine making $21,371 every time you clicked post on social media. Now that sounds crazy and outlandish, but that was actually the number we found we made when we posted into our Facebook group that we ran for a couple of years. That group generated over $4 million cash. And what we did is we took that amount of money and we divided it by the number of posts I'd ever created in that group. And it worked out to be that amount of $21,000. Now, some posts were more, some posts were less, but the point was over the last few years, I've figured out the formula of how to create content to get clients. Now, here's what this video isn't. This video isn't about creating content that gets you viral. This video isn't about creating content that makes you have a big following. I've done neither. I have a relatively small following. I've never gone viral once, but I've made over $7.5 million. And how I've done that is I've learned to create content that people want and need and makes them want to buy from me. And it turns out there's a formula and a science behind it. But I didn't know this, of course, when I was starting out. Back in 2018, I transitioned from my youth pastor job into the online space. Gary Vee was ringing in my ears, create content, post every day. And so I was like whipping out my phone and I was like, you guys would love this. My business at the time was called The Brand Rise. I don't even know what that meant. And I was like, hey guys, Dan here from The Brand Rise. And I'm just here to like give you 3 social media tips. I mean, it was awful. And what I found over the coming months is even though I got some momentum on my business, I didn't know what the formula to getting clients with content looked like. Some content would get no engagement, no leads, and others would pop off. And for me, I played this content Russian roulette for a couple of years, just posting and posting and posting, and some would work and some wouldn't. And over time, I've refined this down to a scientific formula that works. It doesn't mean every single post I get crushes it, because I'm learning and I'm building the skills just like you. But I've found more times than not when I apply this formula to my thinking and my writing and my speaking, it works really well. So let me revisit a concept that you'll be familiar with. It's called Maslow's hierarchy of needs. So every human being on the planet exists on this hierarchy of needs, and we'll have like a beautiful image of it right here. At the bottom, we have the survival needs, and then at the top, we have like self-actualization. The point is that unless your foundational needs are taken care of, what happens is if you are struggling to have food on the table, shelter over your head, warmth for your body, you're not thinking about how to live your best life. And it sounds really straightforward when you put it like that, but here is the point I want to make to you. Your clients have a hierarchy of needs. The people you're trying to work with, the people you're trying to attract into your world have a hierarchy of needs. They have survival needs, they have things that make them want to thrive, and then they have dreams and things on their wish list and their goals list. So let's look at this for a second on the little iPad, and we'll scribble around and we'll bring it down to a point of exactly how you can use this to create client getting content like clockwork. Did you like all those C's? All right, let's roll. So at the bottom level, we have survival. There are the things that your potential clients feel like they need to survive. Now, here's what's really important. Let me erase these pieces. The level of desire for this is need, it is not want. This is something they feel like they cannot live without, right? In terms of the timing, it's not later, it's now. What I want you to think about for a second is that there are things in your potential client's life that represent this painkiller problem that they're trying to solve. Now, one of the best pieces of advice I could give for you when it comes to your content is that at least 70% of it needs to be at this painkiller level, like an aspirin, right? We don't want to give people a vitamin, we want to give people a painkiller. And so what you need to understand is that every single human is different, but your potential clients have a hierarchy of needs. And unless you understand that hierarchy of needs, you might be creating pieces of content that exist in the nice to have category, in the future category, that do not exist in the present desire where the need is now. And so when you think about the potential clients that you're working with, what are some of those things? What are the frustrations that keep them up at night? What are the fears that they wake up in the morning thinking about? What are the things that they cannot go a day without trying to look for solutions? So let me give you an example. I work with online coaches, and there are 3 things that if I talk about them at any point, I will get clicks and I will get interest. Calls, clients, cash. But there are all sorts of things that I could talk about that are important, but that are not on their radar as survival needs. So let me break down what this looks like in a specific way. If the first layer is about the things they need to survive, the second layer is about the things that they want to thrive. And the desire and the timing is different. The desire is, it is a want, not a need, and the timing is later. It's not a must-have, it's a nice-to-have. And then the metaphor for this is it's a vitamin, not a painkiller. And then lastly, we have the third layer here, where I just call it dreams. So we got things that we need to survive, we got things that we want to thrive, and then we got things that are one day, someday dreams. And the desire and timing for these is it's a wish, and the timing is one day, someday. So I want you to think about this for a second when it comes to your audience, right? What are the things in their life that they consider to be survival needs? What are the things that would exist in the realm of things they care about, but are thriving areas? And then what are the bucket list things that are the nice one day, someday stuff? So if we get really practical for a second, so in my audience, the people that I'm trying to attract, they are focused primarily on getting more clients. So there are things that I could talk about like profit, team building, systems, SOP, software, Notion docs, you name it. We could talk about all those things. I could talk about investing strategies. The problem with that is that those things exist in this upper level. But the things that get the most interest, that lead to me getting clients because I'm speaking to people's survival needs, is anything related to getting more clients for them. Anything related to generating more leads, anything related to content, booking more calls, appointment setting, ad strategies, offers, business models that will help them make more money sooner rather than later. And so because of that, it means that 70% of my content strategy exists on this first layer. So rather than me creating content that's nice, that's lovely, that gets some clicks but doesn't get clients, I'm speaking to them like a painkiller, not just a vitamin. Now, let me take another example with this. I just have mentioned all those things before around vitamins and dreams when it comes to investing, profit margins, software, all of that kind of stuff. If I was targeting people who were at $1 million and more, ironically, a lot of the things that for people at 6 figures that are nice to haves, at 7 figures becomes must haves. I mean, I remember at 7 figures, when I first got there 3.5 years ago, I was stressed out of my mind with operations, with delivery, with team. I was reading books on SOPs. I was going through courses on time management. The things that were nice to haves became must haves because I evolved and changed as a person. And because I evolved, my needs evolved. So what I want you to understand is that there is no wrong topic. There are just topics that are less relevant or more relevant depending on the people you are targeting. And so what I want you to do on a very practical note is to first and foremost go back and look at the content that you have been creating and make a list of the core survival needs that your ideal clients have. Again, the things that they're frustrated by, they desperately desire to solve now, the painkillers they're looking for, and then look back at your historic content, the last month or so, and ask yourself by each content piece, where does this fit on my ideal client's hierarchy? Am I talking about must-haves or nice-to-haves? Am I talking about things they want later or problems they want to solve now? And then looking forward, the easiest way to start getting more clients is to put the majority of your content towards the things that people desperately are looking to solve now. This might feel oversimplified. It might feel like it's underwhelmingly straightforward, but it's one of those things that is so simple, most people don't do it. And this is the thing that has allowed me to build the business I've had with the content marketing that drives it. It's what drove our Facebook group to $4 million in sales, making $21,000 every single we posted, because we were posting hyper relevant content that didn't just get clicks, that didn't just get comments, but got clients. And you do this by speaking to people's psychology, by stepping into what it is they're trying to solve and positioning yourself as the person who can solve it, being a painkiller and not a vitamin. So think through this hierarchy anytime you're creating content, and you will start to get more traction and more momentum and more clients because of it. So I'm hoping this video was helpful. If you have liked it, like it. If you haven't already subscribed, subscribe, and I'll see you in another video.